Hello, everyone, and namaste. We are talking about how meditation, breathwork, and yoga can help all of us with sleeping better. Trust me, all of us have been having problems sleeping. I know I have been. So that's why we have Cassandra. Cassandra is joining me live from Canada. Welcome, and thank you so much, Cassandra, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Amita. Happy to be here.
Great. So let's just talk about how the combination of three things, yoga, pranayama, and meditation, helps with sleeping at night.
Well, I think something that we should talk and make note of is that our body is naturally and unconsciously breathing all day. And by activating and becoming more conscious and creating a relationship with our breath, we're really activating that nervous system to become a lot calmer, to slow down our breath, to reduce our heart rate, and ultimately come into the present moment. So it's a really great way for us to connect and to settle our nervous system, to be more at ease in the moment.
Okay, so let's just go a little bit more into specifics of what type of breath work. There's so many breathing exercises that pranayama has. So just talk to us a little bit about type of breath work that we should do and what time we should do. Like, should we start doing at 6 o'clock so we can fall asleep at 9? Or should we do at 9 o'clock so we can fall asleep at 9:30? Just the specifics part of it.
This is such a good question. There are so many different tools of breath work, and let's keep it simple, right? How do we breathe further into our diaphragmatic breath? So maybe together we can do it. We might notice that when we breathe, take a notice of our breath right now. We often can breathe into our chest only and take such short breaths. So can we notice that we can inhale even deeper? So the only breath we want to do is a deep, deep inhale. Notice the rise of the belly. And then as you're exhaling, also exhale fully through the whole body. And so these are the kinds of breath that we want to do. Now, when do we want to do it? Honestly, it's a breath that if I ever come into noticing my breath or that I'm not breathing deeply, I'll do it then. But for our sleep or when we're using it more of a practice, maybe in the morning, if that feels good for you, waking up in the morning and starting with 5 big, deep breaths to fill ourselves with new air. Or maybe at nighttime when we are getting into bed and we're finally about to lay ourselves to rest, can you notice your breath become deeper as you're laying and maybe even feel gravity pull you to feel more relaxed and eased into that moment? So all day, before bed, after bed, anytime you can notice your breath. But yeah, I think that would be a good time.
Any particular type of yoga asanas and postures like restorative yoga that we should do at night during the evening time to calm our senses?
Yeah, nidra. Yoga nidra is going to be like an adult nap of yoga. It brings us to that space in between where we're not quite awake and not quite asleep and bringing us into most calm and comfort state. In that practice, you'll also find different poses that might be good for you. Maybe even just laying down in a child's pose for 10 minutes before resting could be good for us.
Okay, and what about meditation? So, I mean, I'm just trying to get from you, like sort of like a small sequence that all of us can do for 5 minutes or a 10-minute practice in the evening. So it would be like yoga nidra followed by pranayama or yoga postures first. How would it work?
Good question. I love for us to first come into a seated position. Notice your breath. Notice that you're breathing. Notice how you're feeling. Almost give yourself an inventory of where you're at in that moment. Then coming into a little bit of a space of meditation, working with our breath work. Poses, you can do some poses such as a seated forward fold. We can do a child's posture, basic twist with the body. And then Shavasana would be our last pose. And you could do this for about 10 minutes just before bed. And Shavasana is the pose where we're laying fully surrendered on the floor. So this could be the last pose that you finish with and tuning back into the breath again to then calm yourself further into sleep.
And then the yoga nidra is more like a guided meditation, right? So we just turn it on and let that play for like 5 or 10 minutes before we sleeping.
Yeah, and if it feels good as well, while the yoga nidra is on, you can have your legs upwards on the wall while you're laying down. It's nice to have blankets on top of you. And if you fall asleep while you're listening to yoga nidra, then we've done a good job, and that's a good sign.
And what about other pranayama? You talked about the diaphragm, breathing from the diaphragm. Any other pranayama or breathing exercises that we should do, like deep breath or anything else, or maybe chanting mantras along with it? Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Of course. I like to really suggest it can be subjective and to play around to see, maybe mantra is something nice for you to really tune out any of the monkey mind that's happening. Try it, right? Or we can just go simple with our breath work. And what other kinds of pranayama could we practice? Well, sticking with the basic and really getting good at deep diaphragm breathing is going to be your best bet. And maybe box breathing could be interesting for us as well. So with box breathing, we're going to inhale for 4 seconds. So we can do it maybe now together. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale the breath, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold the breath out, staying in this moment for 4, 3, 2, 1. And breathing in this way, in a cycle of breath, you'll notice the nervous system become calm. We can activate parts of the brain that control sleep. We increase melatonin. We activate the parts to increase serotonin. We can reduce our heart rate, ultimately gaining presence and feeling calm.
Okay, those are really good tips. So what we are saying is some of the pranayama, like you talked about the box breathing, you talk about breathing from the diaphragm. Then we talked about yoga nidra that could help us. Then you also talked about restorative yoga, simple, like shavasana, some of the simple poses that we could do in the evening to help calm our mind. Anything else you'd like to add?
I think I would just add the practice of consistency. It will change every time, and it might not be perfect on that first try, and that's okay. I think that the only other advice I would give with that is to keep it simple and to practice each day and to notice the differences of how it becomes more easeful with practice.
All right. And then mantra chanting, there's a lot of research that I just wanted to add. Chanting Om also helps with the parasympathetic system because of the vibration and the resonance of the sound. And there are a lot of other things like sound healing, so many other things. But we are focusing today only on the pranayama and the yoga and the meditation part of it, how it can help.
Totally. I'm such a huge fan of all of the tools that are available. And I'll always encourage to try, because the closer we can get to our yeses of maybe things we enjoy or not. And our breath is the most simple tool that is always accessible to us. Something that in the middle of the day, you can notice, am I breathing deeply or is my breath high in my chest? And we can become more present and more calm. So I think that play with all of the other tools and explore with yourself because it's available. And remember that we can always anchor in with our breath, and it's available to us all the time.
All right, with that note, our breath is powerful. That's what Casandra is saying. And learn different breathing techniques, specifically the deep breathing techniques that has a lot of research with a lot of the health benefits, not only with help with the sleeping, but also other health benefits as well, which we're not discussing today. And learn about yoga nidra and some of the yoga postures, and calm yourself in the evening and let us know if you are sleeping better or not. With that, thank you so much, and everyone. Thank you for your support. Bye-bye.